Hey, hi, how you doing? This is the Gamertron and welcome back to the Gamertron Show. Alright, let's be real for a moment. Can we knock off the whole this video game developer stole from me, this video game ripped me off? Can we knock off this nonsense with the videos and the comments, cause it just kinda makes you look a bit foolish. Ah no, here he goes again. Here goes the Gamertron talking about something he doesn't like about the gaming community. Well, such a shocker. So original. I know. But in all seriousness, it is very, very foolish. It's very foolish, and I'm not speaking subjectively here. I'm not saying this is my opinion, this is how I feel. It is actually foolish, silly, ridiculous to make the claim or the statement that this video game or video game developer stole from you or ripped you off. The video game developer or the video game itself didn't somehow become sentient, physically mug you, and steal your wallet. You willingly made a conscious decision to purchase that product. The video game and the developer didn't take your money, didn't steal your money, didn't rip you off from your money. You willingly gave them your money. You spent your money. I really can't understand or comprehend this attitude and mindset of, I didn't like the game, it didn't live up to my expectations, it's not what I wanted, therefore I have been betrayed, and an injustice has been done upon me. These developers, they are evil, they are greedy, they are out for my money. This video game is a scam. I am outraged that they took my money. No, with some exceptions, keep in mind there are exceptions. It is not the video game's fault that you didn't enjoy it, that you didn't like it. This is another very bizarre and self-destructive mindset, because you did not personally like something, because it does not appeal to you, therefore it is bad, it is objectively bad. No, I'm going to try and explain this as clearly as I possibly can. Let me use Destiny as an example. There are a great many people who claim Destiny to be a bad video game. Not actually because of the quality and the content of the game. Granted, I'm well aware there are other reasons surrounding Destiny. I'm just using Destiny as an example. They call Destiny a bad video game because it didn't live up to their expectations. It didn't live up to their hype. They were expecting something else and they got something different, and they're not happy with the money they spent on it. The money they spent. Destiny did not purchase itself for you. You chose to buy it. And well, if Destiny disappointed you, if it didn't meet up to your expectations, then here's a crazy thought. Maybe you should have been a smart consumer, and instead of pre-ordering and doing zero research, and instead relying on expectations, hype, your imagination to be the basis for your expectations of this product, which is totally unrealistic, so you were setting yourself up for disappointment and a disappointing purchase. It's really disappointing when people can't just accept the fact that, hey, I misspent my money, I made a bad purchase. No one's to blame here but me. I didn't do my research, I didn't know what I was getting into, and I bought something that didn't suit my taste. No. Instead of admitting that you just made a mistake and moving on with your life, we gotta play the blame game. We've gotta blame the video game developer. We've gotta blame the video game. They stole your money. They stole your $60. They scammed you. They cheated you. They falsely advertised. It's the developer's fault. It's the game's fault that you didn't do any research. It's the game's fault. It's the developer's fault that you didn't look up early gameplay footage, that you didn't do any research as to the modes and features of the game. Yes, it's the game's fault. It's the developer's fault. You weren't a smart consumer. I'm sorry, young guys and gals, but that's not how the real world works. I'm sure there are those of you who are wondering and are angry that advertisements and commercials sometimes look epic and grander. They sometimes just feel bigger and better than the actual game. Well, there's this thing called marketing, and if you had a job and worked in a business, you would know what this is. You see, creators want people to buy and see their creations, but there's a lot of creators out there creating a ton of things. How do you get your product to stand out? Well, you dress it up. You advertise it in a way that invokes an emotional response. You use inflated language, epic music, to obtain your attention and have it stay with you in your mind. I shouldn't need to explain this, however. This is advertising, these are commercials, this is marketing. Of course, video game trailers and commercials sometimes look more epic than the actual game. Every other advertising and marketing agency does this with every other product. They're going to do it with games too. And there's nothing wrong with that. It generates jobs, it generates revenue, it generates audience attention. But a smart consumer, especially a smart video game consumer, doesn't just watch trailers. They don't just purchase games based off hype, based off the marketing. A smart video game consumer looks for actual gameplay. A smart video game consumer looks to see if this video game suits his needs, wants, and tastes. A smart video game consumer does their research, looks at the origins of how this game came to be. They look for developer interviews. They look at multiple opinions from multiple sources. And most importantly, they don't pre-order unless they're absolutely positively sure that this will be a video game for them, that this will be a product that they will enjoy. I'm not against pre-ordering video games. I'm against blindly pre-ordering. If you're going to pre-order a video game, do your research. If this is a game that truly interests you, do your research so that you know what you're getting into. I've pre-ordered video games like Divinity Dragon Commander, Evolve, Battleborn, Doom, Titanfall 2. I've pre-ordered these games, and I've been very happy with my pre-orders. Haven't been disappointed with a single one of those purchases that I made. And you know why? Because I did my research. I made absolutely positively sure that these would be games that I would enjoy, that these would be games that suited my tastes, my wants, my desires. I didn't just pre-order because of hype. Did you ever just stop and think for a moment that maybe it's not the video game's fault, maybe it's not the video game developer's fault, maybe it's your fault that you did absolutely jack shit in terms of research, and instead just made assumptions, because that's a smart consumer behavior. Assume that this video game will have all the features, all the content, all your wants, needs, and desires that you expect from a video game to all be met, for all those boxes to be checked. That's remarkably stupid. Be a smart consumer. People complain about the state of the video game industry. The video game industry is in the state that it's in because of consumers, because of stupid consumer behavior. As much as we complain, for instance, about Call of Duty Infinite Warfare, we're getting Call of Duty Infinite Warfare because Advanced Warfare and Black Ops 3 sold millions. Sure, we can complain and we can talk about how the science fiction genre doesn't mesh well with Call of Duty, but guess what? Millions still bought the darn thing, got pissed off and disappointed that they bought it, complained about it. Activision didn't care, they already had your money, and now they're making Infinite Warfare, another sci-fi Call of Duty. People complain about microtransactions in their video games. Well, they wouldn't be there if people weren't buying them. If this was not a resourceful and lucrative means of generating revenue after you launch a video game, then developers and publishers wouldn't keep implementing them. Can we please stop pretending like microtransactions are just there because the publishers willed it? Yes, the publishers willed it, but they didn't wield it just because, haha, microtransactions, we know you all hate them. No, they put them in there because people, in large amounts, consumers, actually purchase microtransactions in their AAA video games. Oh wait, was it the video game and the video game developer? Was that their means of stealing from you? Was that their way of taking your money? Oh no, you didn't push the buy the microtransactions button. No. It's the developer's fault and it's the video game's fault for putting it there. It's not your fault for actually buying them. Just to be fair though, I am guilty of this as well, so don't leave me out. But yeah, can we please stop blaming other people for our poor consumer choices? It's not Destiny's fault. You didn't like it. Maybe you should have done some research before you pre-ordered. It's not The Division's fault. You didn't like it. Should have done some research before you pre-ordered. It's not Evolve's fault. It has butt tons of microtransactions that you got pissed off at. You kept buying them in other games. And the gaming community's hypocrisy shows, losing their minds and condemning video games like Evolve for having microtransactions, even though they were just cosmetic, but letting Overwatch's microtransactions slide by and say, oh, they're okay. They're just cosmetic. Cosmetic and based on RNG. At least with Evolve's microtransactions, you could just buy the skin you want. In Overwatch, you have to spend money and pray you get the skin you want. That's another thing too, consumer perspective. You've got to realize you have a different subjective opinion, different subjective tastes. Just because you pre-ordered one AAA video game and ended up liking it once you got it, even though you did zero research on the thing, doesn't mean that's going to happen every time you pre-order a new video game. Different video games play differently, feel differently, attract different people. Not every video game was meant for you. Oh, who would have thunk it? Alright, I'll stop being condescending for just a moment and be real with you. Stop playing the blame game for your poor spending decisions. Be a smart consumer. Do your research. Make sure you're purchasing a product that you will actually enjoy and get some value out of. One last personal example. I have not pre-ordered, nor do I have any intention to buy Battlefield 1. I have done my research, and I know for a fact that I will not enjoy the game. The game does not appeal to me, the game is not my style of game. I have, however, pre-ordered Titanfall 2, because I've done my research, and I know that I will enjoy that game. I have watched extensive amounts of gameplay. I have looked at the pricing model and how the game will be handling DLC. I've looked at the content and features that will be available in the final product. I did not simply just watch trailers and make assumptions and go with the hype. I did my research, and I know for a fact that when Titanfall 2 releases, my pre-order will be well earned. My money will be well spent because I know I will enjoy that game. Same thing with Doom. I pre-ordered Doom because I knew what I was getting into. I knew for a fact I was going to enjoy that game. Hell, I enjoyed it even more than I thought I would. I did my research, I knew what I was getting into, and it was money well spent. I mean, as much of a disaster as No Man's Sky is, if you're disappointed or even hate the game and are feeling bad about your purchase or your pre-order, here's a genius idea. You did some actual research to see what you were getting into instead of just going with the hype. There are people out there that wonder, why are there some people who like No Man's Sky? Because those people did their research, they knew what game they were getting into, and were happy with the final product. So many other people decide to go with the hype and just believe the marketing. Sure, it doesn't matter what head developer Sean Murray says. Sure, it doesn't matter what he says is kind of outlandish and nowhere to be found in the actual gameplay that they keep showing. And I mean actual gameplay, not trailers and shit. Look, point is, stop blaming video games. Stop blaming video game developers that you're disappointed in the product. Stop blaming other people and other things for your mistakes. Stop playing the blame game because you didn't do your research. Because you weren't a smart consumer. If you're so tired of being disappointed and angry at the video game industry, then do your research. Make sure you look up on and follow up on video games that pique your interest so that you know if the game will actually interest you or not. I know throughout this entire video it sounds like I'm standing on a high horse, but no, please believe me, I'm speaking from experience. I'm speaking as someone who has made the mistake of purchasing video games without doing my research and being disappointed that I wasted my money on something that just isn't for me. For example, Elite Dangerous. I just went on the hype. I just went up on all the good things people said about this game. Little did I know that once I bought and played Elite Dangerous, the game would just not be for me. It didn't suit my needs, didn't suit my wants, didn't suit my tastes, didn't suit my preferred preference in games, so I refunded it, got my money back, and learned from it. I also made the mistake with pre-ordering. I pre-ordered the Hitman 2016 Hitman game, and I just made the assumption, oh, it's Hitman, therefore it has to be good. That was a disappointing pre-order, a buggy, glitchy mess. I've heard they fixed that, so I may buy the game again. But that's not the point. Point is, I pre-ordered. I pre-ordered without doing any research and making assumptions, and I ended up making a regrettable purchase because I wasn't a smart consumer. Learn from your mistakes, be a smart consumer, don't buy something unless you're absolutely sure that this is something you want to buy, you want to play. And that's all I have to say for this video, and this video will now come to a close. However, if you like the video in any way, shape, or form, please remember to hit the like button. Hitting the like button helps you, helps me, helps everyone involved with the video. If you hit the like button, please leave a comment. What are your thoughts, feelings, and opinions on the topic of this video? Let me know your thoughts, feelings, and opinions in the comment section below. I love reading comments. I get nearly enough comments. Please leave a comment. If you want to help out and support this video, then please share it on social media, Twitter, and Facebook. And if you want to help out and support me directly, then please consider becoming a patron and pledging to me on Patreon. Anyways, guys, that's my video, and I'll see you all later.